What's going on, everyone? Today we have the 2020 Cadillac CT5V series. Now, excuse the umbrella, it has been raining almost non-stop the entire time I've had this car, but we're gonna make it work. Now, when this car first came out, the CT5V series, there's been some hate on it. But really, I think it's just bad branding on Cadillac's part. It's not like the old Vs that you're probably used to, big roaring performance Vs, but this car still is a nice car, it just has bad branding. So we're gonna take a look at the exterior details, go for a test drive, check everything on the inside. Let's get started. Now, under the hood of this CT5V series, you're not gonna find a V8, supercharged V8, or anything like that. You're actually gonna get a high output 3-liter twin turbocharged engine. This turbocharged engine does have some pretty nice numbers. You're gonna get 360 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque, and peak torque comes out at 1800 RPMs. This is also paired with the 10-speed automatic from GM, and 0 to 60 is 4.6 seconds, so that's really not too bad. We'll go for a test drive and see how fun this is in a little bit, hopefully with dry roads. Now, the CT5 is going to come with rear-wheel drive standard, which is what we have, but you can get all-wheel drive optional even on the V series. And mile per gallon on this is 18 city, 26 highway, and on my highway MPG test, I got about 26, so about on par with what this says. Now let's take a look at all the exterior details and some suspension details. In this particular CT5V is priced in the mid $50,000 range. And right away up front, you get this iconic, distinctive Cadillac design language. I definitely like their new design language that they've been using on a couple of these vehicles, including that CT4. But right away up front, we have these LED headlights, and I apologize, they are kind of fogged over. The vertical LED light design, that's kind of the running light, it looks really cool. And this grille, you get this dark front grille. It's got a sportier fascia than some of the other models, the non-V models, except for that sport model. But overall, I like the front end here. There's no fog lights, but we actually have the lighting package to give us cornering lights that do a good job at night. And then from the side, what do you think of the design of this CT5? I like I said, Cadillac's new design language. And these wheels here, we get 19-inch wheels with a nickel finish. You've got Brembo 4-piston brakes up front here. You can get blue calipers or different color calipers as part of a package as well. And you've got the V on the side body. This CT5V has the Velocity Red paint, which is a $625 option. Paired with that, you get the body color rocker moldings and the black rocker molding extension. So you kind of have a little black accent there. And overall, it's about 194 inches with its fastback design profile, plus the MagneRide Control Performance suspension to give you constant damping and the optimum ride and handling. And then taking a quick look at the back, you do get a little bit of a spoiler up there, a lip spoiler. You've got a really unique, distinct taillight design. You've got LED taillights. They have red crystal elements inside. It's kind of a cool design, and it also looks nice at night, has a distinctive look. Plus you've got the diffuser and actually a quad-tipped exhaust, unlike the dual tip that you saw in the last model. As we take a look at the cargo area, Cadillac offers you a hands-free option. It's optional, but we don't have it on our particular model to where you can swipe your foot and the trunk will open. Otherwise, you do have a touchpad that you can touch, and then once you get back here, you get about 12 cubic feet. So it's not a big trunk, but it's also not terrible for a performance sedan, and you have split folding seats, a little bit of storage cubby. There's just no spare tire under here. Cadillac gives you the Smart System standard, their Smart Key, and we've got remote start on here. You can open your trunk as well. It's a nice feeling and nice size key fob. And one cool thing is with the lighting package, you see this little strip right there? At night, the door handles will light up. You'll get some illumination on the ground and even some sill plate lighting for a nice entry at night. And the way that theirs works is there's actually a little touchpad on the inside. So there's a little rubber pad right there to unlock it, or you press that button to lock it, or you can have it automatically lock as you walk away if you want to. Now, hopping into the front seats of this V series, one disappointing thing is that the front seats come standard as leatherette, just with your basic power adjustments. But in these seats that we have right here, they're still comfortable. They still have bolster adjustment. They even have thigh extension, and the bolstering in here is actually pretty good. These aren't super aggressive to where you feel like you're in a sports car, but they're enough to feel comfortable but still feel sporty at the same time. These seats will come standard heated. You'll also get memory settings over here on the door, and with that you get that easy entrance and exit system where the seat can move for you, but we also have ventilated seats in here, which are optional. The steering wheel can be power adjustable. Ours is manual tilt and telescoping, and it does have a good motion, and it's also heated. I think my only complaint of these seats is that when I have the reclining function kind of where I normally would want to, the headrest just seems intrusively forward. Otherwise, they're pretty comfortable. Now hopping into the CT5V, I'm not going to go too in depth because I've showed you the CT4 and the CT5 before, but hopping into the V series, we've kind of got some carbon fiber, like a carbon fiber theme with its trim. So you've got that on the doors, you've got that on the dash, you have a nice size screen, and kind of a driver oriented area to sit. So let's go ahead and start it up. Push button right back there. Decent little sound. Then starting over on the door, you do have some nice material up on the top if you like to rest your arm. Same carbon fiber piece. We have the Bose, which is optional, memory settings for the door, and a decently padded armrest with some nice stitching, but it is kind of a small armrest. Then a bottle holder and storage area. The steering wheel is really comfortable to hold on to. It's not a sporty flat bottom, but it's heated. It's got this perforated grip. It's kind of bulky up here. It's very nice soft leather to hold on to. GM gives you the usual steering wheel controls on the left and on the right, including radio controls as well. You've got metal paddle shifters on each side that we'll go through in the test drive. V mode, so you just have a quick access to V mode, which you can customize that on your main screen up there, what you want your V mode to be like. Now, believe it or not, this screen right here is actually optional. So this is not the standard screen. You still have a couple of physical gauges there. The rest of the information is on here. Using your steering wheel, there's a lot of different information you can scroll through. So we're in the performance pages right now. So kind of cool that they have that. And then the regular information with trip computer and all of that stuff that you'd normally expect. Plus, you can see your music, navigation, phone, and customize any settings. You also have rain sensing windshield wipers when you turn it to the auto mode, but they did not work when it was technically enabled, but on the main screen I went to adjust them and disabled them, and then they started working. So that's kind of backwards. Right up above we have our head-up display. There's actually a really large motion that you can move it up and down. I'm just going to keep it right there, but there's different information you can see. You can see music, you can see just your speed, you can see your tachometer, you can turn it off as well. And then right over here in the middle we have our 10-inch display. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is slanted up. It's kind of facing you, but it can get a glare on it at times, but small complaint. Otherwise, it's nice and quick and responsive. And this is the newest version from GM to where you have nice, clean graphics on here, Apple CarPlay, you have 4G, Wi-Fi over there, navigation as well, and we have the optional premium Bose speaker system, which does sound pretty nice. Now you can get a 360 camera, the surround view camera, optional, but we have the backup camera, just regular with dynamic guidance lines. Dual zone air conditioning is standard on here, so those are easy to use and control. You've got your ventilated seats, heated seat buttons, parking sensor, lane keeping system, which is actually optional, all accessible right there. A wireless charging mat, extra little storage cubby, and then you got this unique shifter. So there is a physical shifter. To shift, you actually just move it up, then it goes back to the middle, move it down again for the manual mode. So push that for park. And then right up above, you've got your drive modes up here. So as I cycle through those, we've got Tour, Sport, Track, Snow and Ice, and then you can have your own customized My Mode. To customize that, go on your screen and go to Settings and then Vehicle, and then you can customize your V Mode or your My Mode to where you can tune all of this stuff or change all of this stuff. So you can have it the way that you want it. Aside from using the screen, you can actually use this as well. So I like this little command knob here. You have volume, seeking, and shortcuts to everything. And I like the way that this works for the most part. One thing I don't like are the cup holders. These are tiny. Now I don't have my bottle in here, but I mean, this is just a standard garage opener or just, you know, some keys. And it's about the size of the bottle holder. Small cups, small bottles, narrow bottoms fit, but my big green bottle that I don't have with me does not fit, at least not securely. But coming back here, I like what Cadillac did back here. You've got kind of a hard armrest, but it's got this nice material and stitching. It opens up this way, gives you a couple USB ports, nice soft lining, but you also have a spot for your phone where you can have a cord to charge it. Now, you do have a wireless charger there, and you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's not wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Cadillac gives you an automatic dimming rearview mirror and garage controls up above. You can get the camera mirror that I've showed you on some other vehicles, optional, but we do not have it. And then one thing that you'll notice as we look back, we don't have a moonroof or sunroof in here. You can get a dual pane roof optional if you want to, but I'm surprised we don't have anything in here at all. And then at night we have LED ambient lighting. There's some nice lighting that comes on each door. It is very soft, but it's a very welcome lighting that gives you a little bit of ambiance in here at night. Whew, that rain is just not letting up. But once we get into the back seat of the CT5, this is still somewhat spacious in terms of legroom. I have good knee space sitting behind myself. Foot space isn't too bad. This is definitely a lot better than the CT4. And I have a video of the CT4V if you want to see that. You still get the same nice carbon fiber theme trim back here, soft materials on the door, LED lighting in the back. But when I sit up tall, I can feel my hair touching. My head doesn't quite touch, but it is a little cramped for taller passengers. You get a center folding armrest with a couple of cup holders, air conditioning vents, and a USB Type-C and a 12-volt power outlet back here as well. It's definitely not ideal to have 3 people across because there's a really large hump in the middle, but overall, for family purposes and daily driving, you can still definitely put some people back here. And I've been able to put a car seat on this side with the passenger seat scooted forward a little bit, and it works. All right, y'all, we are finally getting going on this test drive, and we finally have a very short dry period. So I've been waiting for that to get some drier pavement. Starting out, we're in sport mode. We will cycle through the drive modes in a little bit and maybe even try a launch control and just see how fun this is, how it handles. I'll kind of reference back to the CT4V and the CT5 that I think it was a Sport that I reviewed not so long ago before this. So this V series is definitely more performance oriented. Obviously, this has the Magna Ride control suspension, so you have constant damping to give you the best blend of performance and handling, but also some comfort. We'll talk a little bit more about that in detail in a little bit and what it's been like to daily drive and live with this CT5V. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in track mode, and then when you are in track mode, you can enable launch control. You press the traction control button and it will let you know which performance traction mode you are in, wet, dry, sport, and so on. And brake pedal down. That was fun. I hope y'all got a good experience with that. So it definitely did a nice job of, it definitely cut the traction. You go brake pedal down, wide open throttle, and then you just let go. And I mean, we definitely still had a little bit of cut on traction, but that was fun. So you definitely don't get that in every vehicle. Now I'm gonna put it back in sport mode. You could probably hear the exhaust a little bit too. But one thing that I really like about the CT5 is that it handles pretty well. I mean, this car, it's not a V8, it's not a burner, but dang, it's still a sporty car. And I'm just driving this the way that it is ideally marketed to be driven. I don't usually drive like this, obviously. But I love the weight of the steering wheel. It's got a nice bulk to it. The car handles well, it feels planted. And it's just nice. It's a nice, smooth. Got some exhaust coming out the back there. probably some piped in sound, but it still sounds pretty nice. At least with the V6, that can be a concern, especially a smaller V6, but you got the twin turbo, you got a decent sound to it. Definitely a sporty sound to this car. And I'm gonna put it in touring mode, or tour mode. Tour mode dulls everything down. It's just the casual daily driving. You don't get as much exhaust sound. Let me get on it. You still get some, but you don't get the pops like you do otherwise. So something to note, depending on what you want. I'm gonna put it back in sport. And it'll automatically start to hold the revs a little bit higher. The steering wheel gets a little stiffer. It actually gets pretty stiff, and you can customize that on your screen for your V mode or for your own My mode. So you can have two different personal modes and even your own personalized settings for driver profiles on there too. The brakes on here, obviously just a regular slowdown, but the brakes, you can even customize the touchiness and responsiveness of the brakes, and they do a really nice job. Daily driving, I have enjoyed driving this. It's been fun, but it's still been comfortable. And we don't even have all of the options available to us. Let's go ahead and pedal down. And we even got some tire spin right there, if you couldn't tell. Now on this performance page in front of us, you can even look to see the tire temperature, and right now it says normal. It has been about 40 degrees most of the time I've had this car, and the tires show cool on there, or cold. So it's kind of cool. It lets you know when your tires are at least warmed up a little bit. Let's go ahead and put it in manual mode. And it was kind of aggressively downshifting there. I'm going to put it in, yeah, we'll just leave it right here. We're in manual mode. Downshift. Lightning fast paddles, but still responsive enough. Downshift, a little delay. A little delay on the upshifts too, but you get that exhaust pop out the back. This car has a nice sound to it. Still, obviously, not the V that you probably were hoping for or expecting, but they do at least offer the Blackwing, which is technically the old V now. So Blackwing, if you want that performance option. And the car's responsive. The turbo kicks in pretty quick. This transmission, I've got to say, this transmission has been pretty spot on. And now we're on a rougher textured road. With the binaural audio, it picks up road noise like crazy on this surface. And I've got to say, this CT5 has not been as quiet as I was expecting. It's not bad, but it's not as quiet as I would expect for a Cadillac. But nonetheless, ride comfort is still good in this car. It's a great daily driver. It's still comfortable, has a rigid feel and a solid feel to it, while still being comfortable. We do get laminated glass here, laminated glass for the front, so you've got some wind suppression, but road surfaces make their way in here a little more than expected, but that's not the main reason you're going to get this. Handling is on par, feels good. The car has a very planted feel to it. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this test drive of the V. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So to wrap things up on this 2020 Cadillac CT5V, it's a new generation of Cadillac V series. The Blackwing is now the performance model that you're gonna get with the CT5. Despite that, I think this is still a really nice mix of luxury and performance, because it does have some nice pep. 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds, so you can't complain too much about that. And this car doesn't even have all of the available options that you can get on here. Of course, there's other lower trim levels and just pure luxury trim levels, but you can still get a lot of nice, luxurious features on this CT5V. Thanks for hanging in with me with the rainy weather. I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe for weekly videos, and we'll see you next time.